Well, I'll tell y'all that this is a moment when pretty soon it's going to be time to say goodbye to this series. But for this moment, it was just a very good time to kind of get on here, just sort of like, I would say, find these little cattle here, and we've got both of them here now, I see, and so we're going to try to sand them down. We kind of will probably be ending the series about here. The thing we really need to do is take the sandpaper and use it to get rid of all the little saw marks in there that we don't need, because that would probably just be what the worst part of it all is. So we're kind of getting rid of that much stuff. I've kind of thought things over a little bit. Might even consider using these cows in the nativity after all. And hopefully next thing I hope to do is kind of do a little video series where I demonstrate a plan that I made to carve a certain set of donkeys out of another certain set of scraps, and how that works along. And even to that matter would say that I might even to that matter probably consider doing some polymer clay little angels to go into the nativity set, and unsure as of yet just how the little angels are going to end up being carved out, and might even be to a different pattern than to what we have, and some things about that we just kind of have to see how it goes and what we can do. But that's going to be probably what we will work with to make that. And given the fact that there are certain numbers you want to have in your nativity pieces, that is probably the reason why I say with the Holy Family, the shepherd, the three wise men, and the camel, that makes 8, or let's see, 1, and then once we add in the lamb, that will make 9, and the cow and the donkey, that'll make 11, and might be a better number to have 12 pieces rather than 11 pieces. So would be a good idea to try to include an angel in it. But I tell you, those type of angel pattern I have is just the kind of vintagey type that kind of looks like a little naked baby. So not sure whether people will want that in a nativity set or not. It would be quite debatable. So something we might have to consider for the long run, see whether it's really going to be worth it or not. That's the kind of little angels that my little rubber molds for polymer clay make. I could tell you the story about how that the original one of those I made was carved out of wood, and cut the wood carving in half and used mold putty to make the rubber mold for it, and use the rubber mold for polymer clay and things like that. But it's probably just coming to a point where, I'm just starting to realize those don't seem to really be the kind of angels people look for these days or take interest in. So it would be hard to really get any of those sold, even if it was with a whole nativity set. So, times change, people change, things get vintagey. And I mean, it's like years ago, I purchased and collected a lot of those angels from Goodwill and gave them out to people as gifts. It was just something that I always thought was special to me and would be special to people. But sometimes, just sometimes, you kind of come to realize that one of the reasons why things end up at Goodwill like they do is just simply because they probably become something that people don't really want anymore or use anymore, so Goodwill kind of sells it for people who, for whatever reason, might really need it in their homes or something like that, and they get a lot of thrift items and put them out at their stores. And that's what people do, is they go there to buy thrift items. Like, I'd say, purchased a few rubber molds from there that were made for ice cubes, but was always thinking along about using polymer clay and things like that to make the little Kentucky molds I got there and all the little neat things like that, you know. And I say that there's some things in life where people probably just prefer to have it made by hand, and how that goes and how that does, and why, oh, those years ago I made all those polymer clay angels out of all the different colors of clay. That during the pandemic I did all that so I'd have many more to distribute as gifts to many more people, and then kind of ran out of people to give them to, and ended up with so many left that is the reason why these days they just kind of go out at my shows or whatever to try to be sold, even if at a cheap discount price, you know. And that's kind of one of the things where these days, the way times and people change, we've kind of got a ways to go with what we have and what we do, and how this little work is taking us to the next level where we take ourselves at night in life, and how we all just kind of like work our way about all this and make it seem like it's always just getting better and better in the long run, and taking care of us for the better things, the better ways, the better life that we have to live. And so this is where we take things along, seeing where it's going to lead us, where God is going to lead us, and where we're going to follow. It's just how this kind of thing is just one thing that works in mighty, wonderful, mysterious ways in life. And with this, you can sure get a fortune going. And I would hope sooner or later that I have this nativity out in places where people might want to see it and maybe buy it, and hopefully it'll be resold sometime. Hope I could probably sell things to somebody on a deal and have them kind of resell it. And I tell you, one lady, she already ordered some cardinals from me last year that were unpainted and already carved out, and she said she'd paint them herself and put them in her gift shop and kind of advertise me as the carver. Think it'll be nice if many more people for the future continue to do that, you know. It'll kind of help me just really get a word out there as far as how my stuff goes, and as far as how my name goes, and all the things we kind of put out in places just to show a little bit of character in our steps. And this is just among those things where we finish it off. Hope I'm getting the worst of the saw marks out of these things. And I say that there's probably a piece or two of sandpaper still lying around here. Maybe one that is in an easy grit that I could probably use to smooth out what I've already gotten in the rough. And finally, just here's a little easy grit one that we could use to sand off the rest of the cow and kind of get it so it'll be ready for the label and ready for the oil and all the things that come with it. Maybe this video could end up being a little longer than expected, so I can kind of finish the work and finish the project, but I'd say there's just so much I'd like to say in the long run. But is, there's some things in life that can take a long time to say, or be rather or a little bit kind of hard to say sometimes. And so that's why I work along this, make it so we see a little thing where it's just all about choosing charity over bitterness, and showing a little love and grace to people, and putting a little slogan on everything that goes to show what you do and who you are. And already thinking what I'll be doing with these, maybe like putting my little branding iron underneath them to put my little slogan in, and share that little bit of philosophy with people like I always do. It's just one of those things that I share around with people, hoping people may come to know and learn and understand and see how it's going to be one thing that for them it shall brighten their world, make a better world for them and for other people, and the world be a nicer place just because they are in it and because they share the good that's in it. There's so much in life that kind of made its way along in different ways, and all the things that solved little issues here and there, made problems a little better. And I say that I appreciate those of you who do come on, who see the work I make. We don't know yet how an angel is going to be made for these, but we can debate that. We can figure it out on our own, have some way of doing it, and probably find a piece of wood of some breed or species that hasn't been used yet in these pieces. Of course, the cows will be the same as one of the wise men in Walnut, and the donkeys will be the same as the shepherd being in Guanacaste. But with this little effort and this little work, we kind of got to show the things that will make it a long way in all that we do and in what we do. And I say that this is just kind of the thing where we see how in our life we've carved all these interesting exotic woods here and there of different things, and that's why I've got more to say when it comes to the end of this, that I think the fact that you all are watching make this better. Somebody in one of my last videos tried to leave a like or leave a thumbs up, but all it did was flash it. It wouldn't really go through, and I even kind of made a statement that it, in reply to his comment, that it could even just have something to do with the number of subscribers. I said there's a lot of things I can't do yet because there's a minimum number of subscribers you have to do them. Told him that's why I'm trying to get more, and I hope for the rest of you, if there's any of you whom it so interests to subscribe to this page, that you would do so. Help me out a little bit, help me get a little word out, help me to spread this little word of my work and what I'm doing, and to many more people who I'd like to share it with, who I think I would like to see, and so many to whom I'd be happy to have come watch and come know, and even have more to perhaps leave comments and share and get more likes for the future, get more views, maybe even get somewhere the more views I can get. So I would just kind of say that I'd appreciate the fact that many of y'all could come on to watch this, to hear me, to see me, and of all things, I hope for all the best, that you all are always taking care, always doing well and doing good. And thank you again for watching, and this will be the end of this series, but I will see you in the next. Thank you very much.